Hello, Savvies. Welcome to another Tuesday Live. It's been a hot minute since I've been with y'all. I am super excited for another edition of our Quit Your Day Job series. And today's has a little bit of a unique title. I'm super excited to welcome my guest here in a quick second and just kind of hear from her about her journey as a virtual assistant. And I know it happens every single live that we do like this, is it gives you the opportunity to connect in a real, tangible way to their story. It's amazing how in this virtual space, we can meet people that we resonate with, that we understand, that we empathize with in some form or fashion. I love these lives because I was telling my guest a few minutes ago, like it's just a casual conversation where we get to learn about their story. We get to ask questions. To kick things off, let me know in the comments where you're joining us from. I love to see all over the world where our viewers are watching from. So let me know in the chat where you're hanging out. And then as we're going on in the conversation, I encourage you to engage with us in the comments. Ask your questions. Encourage each other in the comments. I have a team member here. She's helping as well. She'll drop some links that may come up in our conversation. But let's make the best use of our time together and let's jump in. Okay, so let me see. Rebecca's from UK, Michigan, Bangor, Maine. Ooh, hey, Mackenzie. I was just doing a live for a friend. I did not go to Bangor, Maine, but that's where it was. I streamed and did a training there. Super fun. Amarillo. Kim, have you eaten the big steak? Have you accepted the challenge at the restaurant there? If you know, you know. Sadie from Utah, Tiffany from Portland, Danielle, Myrtle Beach. So excited that y'all are here. I have a special guest. I'm going to bring her on in just a second. But again, let's be welcoming, let's be encouraging, and let's engage with each other as we jump in. So I like to call this the Quit Your Day Job series. Some of my guests have officially quit their 9-to-5. Some are working towards that. Some life just looks very different from when they first started their virtual assistant business. And so let me bring Emily on. Here you come, my dear. Hello. Welcome. Also, Emily, let me know that there is a thunderstorm rolling in. We both have dogs hanging out in our office. So we're just going to roll with it and go with it, and it's going to be grand. So I love it. Emily, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about where you are. Tell us about your family. Let us get to know you as a person.
Awesome. Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name's Emily Everts. I'm the owner of Luminous Virtual Assistants. I live here in Milton, Florida, just outside of Pensacola. I have 4 children, 3 big dogs, 2 pit bulls and a German Shepherd, and a husband. So me and my husband recently got married in October here in Pensacola. And so I got 4 bonus babies, I call it, and I've been raising them full time for the past 6 years.
So cool. So newlyweds, 3 not small puppies. I didn't know there was 3. I knew there was 1. Yep. 3 puppies and 4 bonus kids. What are some of your favorite things to do there in Florida?
Oh, my favorite things to do. I'm a big foodie, so I love to check out the new and restaurants and just checking out the area in general. Yeah, just anything that has a little bit of a different twist to it. I like to go and try that.
Oh, adventurous eater. What is, you can go anywhere to go get a meal. Where are you going?
Oh, local. Anywhere local. I would probably choose Global Grill on the historic street in Palafox in Pensacola. It's a tapas restaurant, so you can try all the different stuff.
Oh, I love a tapas restaurant.
Yeah.
So fabulous. Okay, so let's dive into your virtual assistant story, shall we?
Yeah.
Tell us about where you were in life. First of all, like how long ago was this that you were exploring virtual assistants? Kind of paint a picture for what life looked like before virtual assistants.
Okay, so my family and I, we moved here to the Florida area in July of last year, so 2024. Me and my husband run a business together, and moving across the country from Arizona, if you know anyone that's, run a business for a lot of time in one area, picking up and moving that can be a big struggle. So we went from making, a healthy amount to where I could stay home, raise the kids, do all that, to a point where it was a halt. It got pretty scary. So I was like, I need to get back out and, in the workforce and figure out what I can do to help with my family. So as I was going online, applying, left and right to medical office jobs, that's where my background was, medical administration, and was being told that I'm too overqualified. This is for entry levels. So it was really hard to be able just to get my foot in the door, even at an entry level position. And then I started, as I'm applying for these jobs, online, the algorithm starts stepping in, right? So then I'm scrolling on my feed and I see things like, become a virtual assistant. I'm like, okay, what's that? And I look into it, and I did the 1 hour, course intro to the virtual savvy. And I looked at my husband after that was done. I was like, I have to do this. Like, there's this is the answer that I've been looking for. Like, I know all these skills. I can do these skills and set up my business in a way that, one, I could be available for my 4 kids. I'm not now locked into, 4x4 wall, 9 to 5. Now I'm able to make my own schedule. So I'm like, everything is aligning perfectly in that way. And when I'm telling you, when I did this course, or even considered it, I mean, you see my title, from plasma donations to paychecks. I was literally donating plasma to just make it by to put food on the table. That was my job. And, if anyone's ever donated plasma before, that new patient special where you get a little bit extra, that's what I got. So with that money, the little money, I'm like, okay, it's $100, put this down. I'm investing in myself. This is not what I have, but I'm going to do it. And we did it. And it was honestly, the timing, everything was the best decision that I've ever made. So after I put my deposit down, immediately enrolled in the course that following week. So it was in November when I started the course on November 4th. Did a whole week, like 5 hours a day, just cranking out sessions. I loved it. It was amazing. And then when I was ready to launch my business, it was on November 11th, 11/11. And I went to a networking group, and I launched my business then, told them what I was doing. And that same networking event, I got my first client, and I still have them today. They're one of my biggest clients that I have. I've evolved from just doing data entry for them to now I'm building their own CRM as well as various other marketing tools. They basically call me their virtual chief marketing officer at this point. So that's kind of like the road from literally I had absolutely nothing, took the plunge on myself, put this investment into this course, and it's now tenfold. And I honestly, it's almost like a pinch me moment, like that it's actually like I made it here, I'm doing it, but it was all thanks to the structure and like the steps of doing the course. I give it all to that success.
So good. Okay, Emily, I told you before we jumped on, like, golden nuggets come through that I try to capture, and I've got a ton that I want to go back and circle back to. I'm going to ask y'all a question that are hanging out with us. We have just over 90 that are live with us. Tell me in the comments, what caused you to start looking for an option? Was it, or is it, like a toxic job that you're in? Is that you don't have a job and that you're looking for a job? Is it that you're looking to make some side cash? I'm just curious, like, what caused you that are watching to start searching? Because the algorithm does pay attention, and it is often very helpful. Sometimes it causes quick decision purchasing. Been there, done that over the weekend. But same thing. Like when I was looking, I was stay-at-home mom of 2, and I just wanted to make some side cash. And so I started searching and legit work from home opportunities, and just kind of, uncovered the world of virtual assistants. So lots of people, so currently unemployed, working nights, pivoting into a second career, got laid off, left a toxic job, retired teacher, wanting increased flexibility. Like, I totally get it. And again, it's this virtual world where we all come together, where we're wanting to make a change inside of our life. Like, I can't believe that Emily would want to continue donating plasma for the rest of her life. It not scalable by any stretch of the imagination, right? So looking for something that brings us joy, brings us energy, and discovering the virtual savvy. And we're so excited that you're here inside of our circle, Emily. And the Savvy System is the course that she's referring to. It's our signature course that we offer here at the Virtual Savvy. We teach you literally step by step how to launch, then grow, then scale your own virtual assistant business. And we pride ourselves as being the best virtual assistant training out there. It's comprehensive. It takes you through all the steps. And Emily's just one of those examples of working the system, because the system works if you work the system. So Emily worked through the course, and then it was time to launch. This is November of 24, right?
Yep.
Okay. So November of 24, she goes to her very first networking event. So had you been to a networking event before?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So in your other business ventures, you had been at a networking before. Okay. So let's dive into that for a second.
Yep.
You're going in with a new virtual assistant business. What were your feelings and thoughts as you were walking up to go into that event?
I was excited.
Ooh, tell me more.
I was so excited. I mean, before, I've had 3-4 years experience of networking. I've been on the board of networking groups.
Mm-hmm.
I think I give a lot of credit to that as well. I know it can be very intimidating and very scary to go into a group. You have no idea, and you're giving out your whole business. I was there. I was shaking, trembling, and talking in front of people. But I give that experience more confidence to do and convey the message of my business.
What is one tip or two that you would give to people that may have never gone to a networking event, or they went and they didn't know, and they felt like they left, they felt like they didn't succeed at it? Like, what are some must-do tips that you would give to people?
I would give the tips I would give. One, definitely have a stack of like 25, 50 business cards just ready in your pocket to go. But go in there with a goal. I want to leave there by at least networking and setting 2 one-to-ones, like coffee dates, with 2 people in that group. That is my goal, my intention of even going in there. So then once I get that, I'm like, okay, I met with those 2 people, and from there, the connections grow. But having your 30-second, 60-second little elevator pitch, kind of nailing that down and being specific, not being so broad in your ask. Because saying that, oh, I help all small business owners do all this stuff, like, how about you just narrow it down a little bit? Hey, maybe I'm looking for this person with social media management. Give like maybe 1 or 2 like specific tasks that you know you're really good at, and then narrow it down there. Because when you start saying more broad things, it doesn't necessarily click in people's heads versus being more specific with your ask.
So good. Yeah, I love those tips. Okay, so let's just list them. We want to capture them in the moment. I'm a teacher at heart, so recapping is always important. Okay, have your business cards, 25 to 50 when you're walking into that networking event. I, in fact, just ordered some new ones myself because I'm headed to some networking events. So have that ready to be able to hand out. Have a goal in mind. I want to leave this networking event having done this. Is it connecting with 10 people? Is it walking away with 2 coffee chats scheduled? Decide what your goal is for going into that networking event. And each event may look different for your goal because each of those networking events sometimes have a different theme or a different focus or how they even kind of operate within that networking event. So know your goal and have that quick elevator pitch, who you are, what you do, ready at a moment's notice. And I love what you said, Emily, is you want it to not be too broad so that it leaves the person questioning. We were actually just talking about this on a coaching call inside of Savvy System last week about you want your elevator pitch to give enough information where the person knows what you're saying, but not enough information where they want to ask more questions, right? And, we could spend a whole call on what that looks like, but you don't want it to be so broad where they're confused and they don't understand. You want them to quickly connect with you on who you are, what you do, but then they're intrigued. They want to ask more questions. And so walking into those networking events, business cards, goal, and elevator pitch, and it will help your
catch too is not just like saying, hi, I'm Emily Everts. I'm, the owner of Luminous Virtual Assistants, blah, 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 blah. It's good to take that back and relate to them. Do you know anybody that has told you they just have no time in the day to get anything done? And then it's like a hook. And they're like, yeah, that's me. No, I've heard that. You relate it to them. And then now they're listening even closer to you. Then at the end, well, if you know anybody with those issues, my name's Emily Everts, and I'm the owner of Luminous Virtual Assistant. So that's like really a great pitch.
I love it. Okay, y'all only showed up for the first 17 minutes. You're walking away with gold right there. I love that. Okay, let's go back to your story because I had more things. You said you left the networking event with your first client and you were doing data entry. Was that the only service that you started with, or did you have others on your list that you were offering at the time?
No, I had many others on my list. He was just a disorganized tax guy that just gives me a bunch of papers. I need this implemented into, a computer. You do that, sure.
Awesome. Okay, so here's my next question for y'all watching. Whether you started your business, you're growing your business, or you're exploring doing this, what are your beginning services? Like, where are you starting? That's so important for you to claim and recognize. And here's what I want you to hear is it doesn't have to be something big and grandiose. You can start with exactly what you know how to do right now. I can take that information and organize it in a digital way. Absolutely. I can respond to your emails. I can manage your calendar. I can check on the back end of your website. What are those beginning services that you have started with or that you want to start with? Sometimes I think there's a misconception of, well, I can't start my business until I learn how to do XYZ. And that's not true. You can start with the services that you know right now. Maybe you have experience in a specific niche or a specific industry, and you can help and support those people and you have a big network. Maybe you know that you can do email management, calendar management, and you don't know who you want to support, okay? But this is where you can start. Yeah, Tiffany says I can start or have started with calendar, email, and travel. We have interior design, handling purchasing and procurement. Those are great places to start. So think about where you can start. And I was telling Emily this too before we jumped on. It's guaranteed. I guarantee you, in some form or fashion, the decisions that you make today about your business are going to change later on down the line. So if you're going to start with calendar, email, and travel, it doesn't mean that you're going to end there and only do those things. I guarantee you will learn new tools, new systems, new services, and be able to expand to new things. But we just have to get the ball rolling, because Emily, you mentioned I started with this, but now I'm doing this. What are some of those services that you're now offering?
So now I am offering website SEO management, but that's also me bringing on experts in those areas. I'm not the expert at everything, but I bring on my white label contractors, and that's how I'm able to expand without having me note on note, killing myself trying to figure out all these new systems, hire on people that already know this, and then I can offer that additional service.
Okay, so how many people are on your team?
I have about 3.
Okay, awesome. Are you, I'm going to use a term, are you completely white labeling them, like under your umbrella? How does that work for you and your business model?
Yes, they're completely white labeled as far as I have different tier options. One of them for somebody that just needs a one-pager simple website design. Great. It's really inexpensive. And then I can go all the way up to, a $3,000-$4,000 package website SEO to get on the Google 3-pack, make sure their search engine optimization is up to par, things of that nature.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so for those of you who may not know what the white labeling term is, so she is bringing in experts in their field so that she can expand her offerings. Okay, so she's using SEO as an example. Another example would be bookkeeping. Maybe you want to offer bookkeeping to your clients.
I do.
The industry that you're in, right? Because you know that that's needed, but you don't want to do that, or you don't want to learn how to do that. So you bring an expert in under your business umbrella. You contract with them, but they are under your business per se. So I hope that kind of brings clarity. Some people may never have heard that term white labeling before. Okay, so Emily, have you niched down into a specific industry, or are you serving a variety of industries?
Right now, I serve tax specialists and then wellness, health and wellness. My background is I have a bachelor's in health promotion and public health marketing. So if I were to niche down, I would love to be with, the medical, the private concierge doctors. I do have a client that I do back end office work with. It's what my passion is. I love creating the content for them, whether it's flyers, newsletters, all of the things for their patients. I love walking through the patient flow from before they get the patient to when they see the patient to the afterlife, and just seeing that entire flow and making sure that they're educated and well on their path to optimal wellness. That's what I love.
Oh, so good. I also, side note, I am a huge fan of concierge medicine. I am a member myself.
Yep.
Game changer.
It is.
Topic for another day.
Yeah.
Also, okay, I want to point this out. So Emily has niched down, or has an idea of who she loves to work for. Did you have an idea of what that was, Emily, at the very beginning, or has that kind of morphed and evolved over time? Just curious.
I had an idea at the very beginning, but at the beginning, I also was like, I need to do something. So it was just like I was bringing on, anybody that needed my services at the moment. And then from there,
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's like, I like to say at the beginning, our goal is to just get warm bodies to say yes. Like we just want to get our business started. We want to start bringing in revenue. And so I'm going to work with whoever I'm able to sign as a client, and then allowing yourself to walk through that journey of pivoting and evolution of what your business can be, and who you serve. And you can niche down in a variety of ways. All right. So here's a fun little quick niche lesson. You can niche. There's 3 main ways. One, you can niche by service. I offer CRM setup for small online businesses. So you are specializing in a service. You can niche down in an industry. I provide virtual assistant services for those in the concierge medical industry. And you can niche down to that, but you offer a variety of services. You can also niche down. The third is with both. I provide CRM setup for those in the concierge medical industry, and neither one of the three are better than the other. And you don't even necessarily have to niche from the beginning, right? Just like Emily said, I just wanted people to say yes. I just wanted to not donate my plasma anymore, right? And so you will naturally, organically figure out what that direction is. And you may have an idea at the beginning, and it may change and pivot later on, and you decide, yeah, I am not going to work with that industry anymore for whatever reason. The most successful virtual assistants that we see, and I can absolutely say this with all confidence, the most successful are those who are willing to pivot. And they're willing to figure out how to master the pivot, because we ourselves are changing, our stages of life are changing, and the online space is changing. And I mean, AI, let's think about that. Like, how has AI rapidly changed the virtual space for the positive in just a year? And so are we willing to master the pivot and figure that out, and following the journey on where that niche is? So Emily, we painted a picture of what life was before virtual assistants. What does life look like now? And I do see some questions we'll circle back to a little bit later on. But Emily, paint a picture. What does life look like now?
Life looks like I'm able to provide almost 80% of all of our bills. I just had literally all of the bills. I honestly don't know where I would have been without starting the time that I did, because my husband has now ventured off on a new endeavor because of the issue that we had moving here. And he's currently out of town for the past few months trying to figure things out. So I'm literally covering 80% of all of the household bills right now. And again, it's been a blessing, but it's also a saying to me during this entire thing is failure is not an option. I will fail at some things, but I will not fail at this. Like, I will learn and adapt along the way. And that's exactly what I've done. But again, I give a lot of my success to networking in person and not relying on online bids for jobs. Like, that's how I scaled from starting in November to now. What is that? Five months. But I have now, I'm over making $5,300 a month from zero.
So cool. Okay. Girl boss all the way. I know it's a corny phrase, but congratulations. Like, you are an inspiration to so many by just saying yes to yourself. No, I don't want to live this way anymore. Failure is not an option. I'm going to take this $100 that I could use in many other ways, and I'm going to make an investment in myself, and I'm going to push myself to make a change. And so now we're at the point of, $5,300 US dollars. Every month that's coming in. You're supporting your family so that your husband can go do what he needs to do. That is amazing and should be celebrated in big ways. Okay, so here's my question for those watching. I love asking questions. Did you figure that out? What is your goal with virtual assistants? Alex, I saw your question. I'm going to actually pull that up because I want to address this now because it kind of fits. Alex says, I'm interested in any part-time, a flight attendant for a major U.S. airline, and I do have flexible time home and away. Looking for part-time remote would be awesome. Extra income for myself. So what's great about virtual assistants, Alex, and everybody else hanging out, is that virtual assistants can be whatever you want it to be. It can be super part-time. For me, I had 2 littles at home. I had nap time. I had bedtime. That was my work time, which equated to 10 hours a week. Let's just put it around that. That's all that I had. And my goal wasn't to build this big empire of an agency or a business. I just wanted money to be able to pay for preschool and to be able to pay for a gym membership, right? So that I had childcare and could take the kids and maybe work out or maybe just sit and do something else. But it can be however part-time or full-time that you want it to be. You can do it when you're sitting in the hotel room waiting for the next flight the next day. You can do it in between classes if you're a college student. You can do it during nap time. You can do it all day if it's full-time for you. You get to make the choices of what this looks like. And you can start it as part-time and then decide, oh, I'm really good at this and I really love it. I'm going to do this more, and expand it and grow it. You really can make it fit for what you want it to. In virtual assistants, you get to make the choice on what you offer. You get to make the choice on how much you charge. You get to make the choice of where you work. Are you going to work domestically? Or are you going to work internationally? Vice versa. Like, you get to make those choices, and you get to make the choice of who you get to work with. Even after you're working with a client, if it's not a fit, you can fire the client. I mean, how many jobs do you get to, if any, make all of those choices? You get to make the choices for all of those. Alex, great question. I don't know how long you've been hanging out with us here at the Virtual Savvy. If you just jump over to our website, Alex, we have some free trainings. We'll even drop, Alicia, let's drop the BBO link in the comments. And Alex, you can check out that training. We also have lots of free resources available on our website. And of course, we have our signature course, the Savvy System, where we walk you step by step. Emily's been a member. I joined in 2017, and it walks you through each step to take, literally holds your hand and helps you make all those choices to start your own business. Okay, Emily, what's next? Like, what's your next big goal? What are you looking for?
I want to make 6 figures by November. That's so.
How far are you? Like, what does that look like?
More than halfway right now. And the thing is that I am so beyond busy that I have a waiting list of clients ready to jump on, that I'm not, like, I need more VAs on my team to be able to handle my waiting list right now. So it's been the growing pains. It's a great problem, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And we had this conversation in a coaching call. I think it was one in our other product, Savvy Vault, about that glass ceiling, and talk about mastering the pivot. Like, there are going to be stages in your business where you're going to hit this glass ceiling, and you've got to figure out how to bust through it and able to hit the next glass ceiling, right? And having a wait list of clients that are ready and trying to figure out, how am I going to do this and bring them on, and hiring more subcontractors. It's breaking through that glass ceiling. In fact, I actually, encouraged the person who asked the question, is sometimes you have to step back just a little bit to get enough energy and effort to crash through it. And just, taking the time to figure out, how am I going to master this next pivot in my business? Okay, so when you hit the 6 figures, Emily, how are you going to celebrate?
Well, I am going to take me and my husband on our honeymoon that we have not had yet. So,
you have a location that you want to go?
I would love to go overseas, whether it's Italy or Greece, or I want to go big.
Wow, I love that. I did an interview with one of our students. In fact, he just had a blog feature come out, Mattia. He lives in Italy. And I told him, I said, when my husband and I come to visit, you are going to be my tour guide, because you're going to show me all of the local spots for the good food and all of the things. Okay, I'm going to give Emily an action item, because that's what I do. I want you to write down, talk about it with your husband, how you're going to celebrate when you hit the 6 figures.
Okay.
The trip, where are we going? And I want you to write it down and claim it. So good. Okay. I know there's some questions in the chat. I want to get to those. Emily, what is one piece of advice that you would give those who are hanging out with us, who are just kind of exploring this option and looking at it? What's one piece of advice that you would give them?
My first piece would be, just take the 1-hour little intro course, just to get more of an idea of what the system is. And my other piece of advice would get out of your own way and attend the live in-person networking groups. I give all of my credit to building my business that way. Going out there, I'm the only virtual assistant, I feel like, at any of these networking groups, and the need is so high. The way that I differentiate myself is, one, I'm not overseas or, making very like small, or I'm not even real, because there's scams going on that the AI that they're hiring somebody on and all that. It's like, I haven't pulled the data yet, but there was a study done on the amount of scams with the AI virtual assistants, because they're starting to attack that. And people want to do business with people. So they could go online and like have a AI bot to do that. But it says a lot about someone when they can meet in person, go into their business, their office, see what's really going on, getting more of a in-depth. And that's who the people that want to work with me because I can go meet them for coffee or go to their office. So I think that's honestly my biggest advice. I'm a part of a networking group that meets once a week. They all help me out, whatever I ask. Hey, I'm looking for new days. They've helped me grow my business in that way. So it's been wonderful.
Oh, I love that. Jamie asks, how do you find these networking events? Great question, Jamie. I'm going to pull it up because it fits right into what she was saying. How did you find yours, Emily?
Facebook events. I went on Facebook. Eventbrite. Go on Eventbrite, and there's a whole category that's about business and networking. And I mean, really those two things. And also BNI, I can go on their website, find all the locations and when their meeting times are. You can go in as a visitor, and as well as other, networking groups like AIM Spirit. And there's more organized ones. If you choose to join a more of like an organized networking group, but there's a ton that are just kind of like really casual. Like I went to a speed networking thing. It's like speed dating, but networking, where you're going round robin, like 8 different tables and giving your pitch.
Yeah.
Great way to meet like 60 people in a short amount of time. But yeah, just Facebook and Eventbrite is where I find all of the local events. And if not, I've like even created my own event, like a women's networking group, and put it on Facebook and had great success that way. So if you can't find one, make one.
Yes, and I agree with all of those. One I will add to that is your local chamber. So here in the United States, in most places in the big cities and even the small ones, we have Chamber of Commerce, where it's local businesses come together. And many times the chamber has free events for non-members that you can show up. And I have found local ones for local chambers that meet every first Tuesday of the month at a local restaurant, and it's free. You just show up. So Facebook, Eventbrite, BNI, all of those are great resources to find networking events. Emily, if one more question, then we'll dive into the chat. What is one piece of advice, if you could go back in time, what is one piece of advice you would give yourself?
One piece of advice I'd probably give myself is I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have made that jump and not questioned myself and give myself some more faith that I'm capable of amazing things, and just giving yourself that pep talk, like, you can do this. That would be my biggest piece, is if you're questioning it, I don't know. I just think you should just take the plunge, because you came back where I started 5 months ago. I wish I would have started even sooner.
I heard a phrase once, and I don't remember the origin of where it came from, but there is no bad investment when you're investing in yourself, right? Like, let's take Savvy System. That's our course, right? That we referenced. We have a 30-day money back guarantee. So jump in, try it out. Is it a good fit? And if it's not within the first 30 days, you let us know and you go on to the next thing, and that's okay. And even within that time frame, you can learn so much about yourself. Now, we do have the lowest refund rates because so many people find success and work the system and figure it out. But if you're willing to show up, if if you're willing to do the work, the system works. I remember that gut feeling that you described, Emily, at the top of the call. I had watched the free training, and at the time, I think Abby was doing like a challenge or something, and I attended all of those days. And at the end, I had this guttural reaction of, this is it. Like, this is the answer to what I've been wanting and looking for. And I told my husband, I said, I don't know how we're going to take on an extra monthly payment for the next 12 months, but I want to do this. And I've never looked back. One of the best decisions. And, you know, so true that you may feel nervous and you may feel scared. You may feel intimidated, but you have, look at that first 5 words. Okay. You do have so many skills. You have so much to offer, and not just skills. Like, you as an individual bring so much to the table that nobody else does. Emily brings so much to the table. I bring so much to the table, and we're different. And going back to what you said, Emily, oh, this is so good. You show up to those networking events, you're the only virtual assistant. I cannot tell you, and probably many of you have even had the same thought. Like, aren't there so many virtual assistants? Isn't the market oversaturated? Absolutely not. Right. I believe we haven't even hit the peak of anything. Nope. Like, the number of people who don't know what a virtual assistant is, or they don't understand how a virtual assistant can help them, is crazy town, astronomical to me. And I think sometimes, you know, we get trapped in our bubble of researching and learning about virtual assistants. And so everything that we're reading and hearing about is virtual assistants. And so it gives this false impression that the market is oversaturated. But when you show up to those networking events, online or in person, the need is so great. And I think I saw a comment too about AI. Like, is AI going to take away the need for a virtual assistant? In my opinion, absolutely not. And like it or not, not virtual assistants, AI is here to stay. It's not going away, and it's rapidly changing. And AI is such a great tool and resource when used the right way. Can it be misused and abused? And Emily, you know, gave us an example. 100%. I like to say AI is not going to replace virtual assistants. Virtual assistants using AI will replace virtual assistants who are not. And yes, AI helps us do our job faster. It helps us do our job better. It's not doing necessarily our job for us. No. It's an aid. It's a resource. It's a support. So, I got a whole nother soapbox about that. Let's jump into the questions, shall we? What do we got? Time goes by so fast.
I know.
I was like, man, we only have 15, 20 minutes. Okay, let me scroll. Okay, I'm going to start with Heather's question. And I know some of you wanted to hear about this too. How do you figure out pricing when you bring in a subcontractor so that they are making money as well? The subcontractor is getting their rate. Emily, why don't you jump into this and I'll add on anything if I need to.
Yeah, so when I first bring on a subcontractor, whatever package that I sell for that client, so I'm basically the relationship of bringing on the client to give to the subcontractor. They're not going out and getting the work. I'm the one getting the work. Mm-hmm. So especially if they're new with my company, for the first 90 days, my subcontractor makes 60% of the package. I make 40% of the package, because I know that I'm going to need to probably, be more hands-on and make sure that checks and balances are being done after the 90 days. I give my subcontractor 70%, and then I get 30%, and that covers all of my tools, because I also subscribe to the other tools that they need to be able to do their job correctly, so they're not having any out-of-pocket costs. It pays for my financing, my invoicing, all of that. So yeah, 70% to contractor and then 30% to me to cover my overhead. And then I put in there too, if I ever have like one-off tasks that need to be done, there's an hourly rate for those tasks. But I hope that answered your question.
No, that was great. I don't even have a whole lot to add. I just have some clarifying questions. Well, first of all, are your packages flat rate or are they hourly?
They started out as hourly and was realizing I was shooting myself in the foot in the beginning because I was like, I'm punishing myself for doing a great job because now I have all these excess hours because I'm getting it done quicker.
Yep.
So I took out the hours and just did flat rate packages based on now I know where I land with my timing of stuff. I wouldn't have known that without actually going in there and doing the work.
Yep.
But now I know the time that it takes me to do this stuff. I've now cut that out and I'm just a flat rate.
Yep. Oh, I love that. And that's a perfect example of what we teach. Like we recommend that you start with an hourly rate, and we walk you through in the course of what that looks like. And then if it makes sense for your business model and where you want to go and what you want to do, then you can look at what it would look like to transfer to a flat rate. I didn't like the hourly because I had two littles, and if somebody fell or somebody needed a snack or somebody needed more juice, and I forget to stop the stopwatch, then it's just a constant. Where was I? What was I doing? And I just don't want to do that anymore. But we recommend that when you first get started, you start hourly so that you can understand the value exchange when it comes to moving to a flat rate package. Okay, so your flat rate, so then they're getting 60% when they first start of that package rate, and then they move to 70%. I love that. And you can too, depending on your business model, depending on what you want your business to look like, you can do hourly, like Emily does for subcontractors with extra projects. You really just kind of have to decide what this looks like and how much are you doing of the work. Are you completely handing off the client to the subcontractor, or are you owning some of the work yourself? And you just kind of have to figure that out. And there's no one only way. The best way is what's best for your business, and what you're wanting to do. So many good comments. Y'all, I told you to engage and interact in the comments, and you understood the assignment. I love it. Okay, our team did drop the training. Emily referenced it a couple of times too. The hour free training that we have on our website. It's Becoming a Booked Out Virtual Assistant. It's an hour long. Abby goes through her favorite ways to find clients and market to clients, and kind of walks you through some of those beginning steps. Emily, do you have a website?
I do not yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, this brings up another. Okay, so question comes up all the time. Do I have to have a website? I can't launch until I have a website. Okay, Emily, it's proof in the pudding that you don't have to have a website. I didn't have a website for 2 years. I only had a Facebook business page because I didn't know how to build a website and I wanted to pay somebody to do it. So I saved up money, and got more clients so that I could pay somebody to build my website.
That's coming in probably the next 2-3 months. But yeah, I just use the portfolio, and we make that during the system. I just make a Canva live link and just send them the link to my portfolio, and that's my website.
I love it. I love it. And in the system, we give you that template, so it's drag and drop. It makes it so easy. You don't even have to think about it.
Yep.
Okay. Have not had a bunch of success with marketing and looking at Upwork. Okay, so we had this discussion in Savvy System the other day. I personally, and Emily, you can share your thoughts too. I personally am not a huge fan of Upwork because they take a cut from the virtual assistant. So you have to pay, I think they told me it was 30% of the contract that Upwork is taking off the top before you even begin to do the work. And I'm not a huge fan of that. Can it give you experience? Can it help boost your confidence? Absolutely. But I don't want you to look at only building your clientele and your business on Upwork. That's my personal recommendation. Emily, do you have additional thoughts?
Yeah, I have similar. I just think that, I mean, Upwork's great as far as, finding freelancers and doing all that stuff, but it can water down your value. If you're being bidded out and you're trying to lower it to get the bid, I stick to my guns. I know my value. I don't want to stoop below that just to get, sorry.
You're good.
Just to get the job. Again, people love doing business with people, and that's 9 times out of 10. That's literally why they want to go with you, is because they've met you, they know you, they want to work with you.
Yeah, and we can try a couple ways of marketing, and we can get easily discouraged if it doesn't work right away and we're not getting traction. There are so many ways and opportunities that you can market and get yourself out there. I don't want you to get trapped in a box. I want you to, look at different ways that you can do that and research and find the one that works best for you and whatever that looks like. Great thoughts. Julissa, so number one, I would go check out the free training on our website. You can see the link in the comments. It talks all about some of the questions you have. How do you promote your services? Taxes. If you live here in the US, quick lesson, we recommend you save 30% to pay towards your taxes. Doesn't mean that all of that is going to get paid towards your taxes, because you do have things that you can count for as expenses inside of your business. Registrations, it really does depend on where you live. Here in the US, different states may require different things. And so you just have to do a little bit of research on what does your local area require for you to start your business. In many areas here in the US, you just have to have your EIN number to be able to start operating as a sole proprietor as yourself. And there's no cost to that. You just register for the number on the irs.gov website, and you are off and running. But make sure you check your state, your local area, to make sure that you know what, or if any, extra registrations. We do recommend that eventually you get an LLC, but you don't have to have one to start with.
Yep.
Did you start with an LLC, Emily?
I did not. I talked to a CPA, and he's definitely like, with where I'm at, you need to get your LLC next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. An LLC, it's, that you're, it's a registration that you do with state, and it just is a layer of protection between you and your clients. So if anything were to happen inside of your client's business, the client cannot go after your personal assets. It's kind of a barrier that protects you. They, if they were to try to take action, they can only go after the business. That's a very quick synopsis. I am not a legal representative in any form or fashion. Make sure that I say that. What time are we at? Oh, we got a few more minutes. Okay. Hourly rate, Heather asks. Emily, where did you start for your hourly rate?
35.
Awesome. I started at 30, and then every client after that, I would raise it $1 or $2. And I landed, I went to hourly rate, or I'm sorry, I went to flat rate. It was approximately between 40 and 45 as an executive virtual assistant when you look at the math and all of the things. We recommend in Savvy System that you start no lower than $20 an hour. And even $20 is a little low. I like to recommend 25, 30, even for general admin services. It's a nice place to start considering your taxes and things like that. Because again, we're here to start a business that's profitable, that brings in revenue. And we get lots of pushback. Can I really charge that? Am I really worth it? How do I compete with those charging less? You show up confidently as yourself and recognize your value. There are lots of people that need you, that want you, and will pay for your value. So anything to add on that, Emily?
No, you said it great.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. 30% off the top. Ugh. I'm not a fan. Is that the hourly rate you pay your subcontractors for one-offs? What do you pay your subcontractors?
I pay them 20. I pay them half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical. So inside of our communities, so when you join either Savvy System, which is the course that we've talked about, or Savvy Vault, which is our growth membership, you have access to exclusive job ops. And we have a cap or a minimum of $20 an hour to be able to post inside of our communities, because that we would consider a base subcontractor rate, if not what we teach as the base beginning rate for a virtual assistant. And so that's pretty fair for starting out subcontractor for sure. And Emily brought up a good point. So there is a difference between being contracted as a virtual assistant and being subcontracted under somebody else's business. All right. So follow me for a quick second. So if you are hired by a client to be their virtual assistant, it is a direct contractual agreement between the two of you. You are considered a contractor. All right. You're not an employee, you're a contractor. If you are needing to bring on help and support with your clients and your client work, then you would bring on subcontractors. And at the very beginning, like doing subcontracting work is a great place to start because you're under somebody else's umbrella. You're not holding all of the contractual agreements. You can, get practice. You can build your confidence, all of those things. But you are at a lower rate because you're not holding the responsibility of the agreement with the contract. There is a difference between your VA rate and your subcontracting rate, because the responsibility is lower too, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Teresa, let me know in the comments how I can bring any clarity to that. I would not go under $20 an hour, even for a subcontractor rate. That's my personal opinion. I don't recommend it because even as a subcontractor, you're still having to pay the taxes off of the top of that too. And so that's something to keep in mind. So as a subcontractor, even I would not go lower than 20. And paying your subcontractors $20 an hour is a really good place to start. I agree with that. But if you have follow-up questions, let me know in the chat. What time is it? Okay, let's answer one or two more. I think I just see one more left. I have had a lot of people interested to bring on a VA, but they don't have initial systems set up for me to step in. They want their systems built. Do you charge more for that? Emily, what are your thoughts?
If you're comfortable with the systems that you would like to bring into them, then absolutely. If you're not as familiar with the systems that you think would be a good fit for them, then not necessarily, because you're going to be training with them to do that. Mm-hmm. For example, right now I have a client that doesn't have a CRM. He's doing everything pen and paper, like my data entry client. And so I'm literally starting from the ground up, building out a CRM for them. I'm learning along with them. They've bought extra support for me to be trained with this. Mm-hmm. Now, after the fact, said and done, I'm like an expert at the CRM because I'm building it from scratch. And I have another client that hey, can you do this for me? Absolutely. This is my charge. And it will be much higher than what I'm doing because I have my training. They're not paying for that.
Oh, that's so good. So a story that we have, I think she's listed on our results page, Christy De Silva. She joined Savvy System 2021. I don't remember her starting date. She started as a general VA, very similar to Emily, and just started offering general VA services. She started learning systems and processes and tools. And now she has niched down into building out custom ClickUp platforms for her clients, she is charging multiple 5 figures for her services. And her business is bringing in multiple 6 figures on systems set up alone. But when you're first getting started, I love what you said, Emily, like you're having to learn it too. And so there's no need to necessarily charge an astronomical or, over the top rate. Let's start what's reasonable. There's plenty of room to grow. We will get there. Maybe you find out you hate the system and you don't want to offer it. So, again, mastering the pivot. All right, last question. Rosa Marie asks, Emily, did you finish the Savvy system before you started taking on clients?
No.
Okay, tell us all the things.
Oh, can I be honest? I'm not.
You're not allowed to if you're not honest. So
I'm still not finished with the system, guys. Like,
I love it. No, this is so good, and you aren't the only one.
No, so I literally I'm done with module 7, and that's where I've been because I got so booked up so fast that I'm literally now cognitively carving out time just to go through the other systems. But no, after I at least had my branding board done and some type of a layout to where I had a business card to bring to that first, meeting, I was ready to go. So.
Okay, so Emily's not the only one. I did not finish the Savvy system. Similar story. I think I made it a little further. I think I made it into module 8 or 9. But then I got booked out and I didn't have the time to go through the rest, and I didn't need to at the time. I didn't go through the rest of the Savvy system until I was hired by the Virtual Savvy, and I needed to finish it so that I knew what was in it. So it happens time and time again that people get booked out, they get busy with client work, and they just don't have time to finish the Savvy system. So I love that. Okay, y'all, this was jam-packed, full of value. Come back, watch the replay, share it with a friend. If you're watching the replay, engage with us in the comments. We have team members that come back through and answer any questions that you have. Emily, it was such an honor to have you on the live with us. I think we're going to have a featured blog on Emily coming up in the future months. So be watching for that. And if you join Savvy System, make sure you shout us out once you join and you're in the community. We would love to celebrate you as well as you start this new virtual assistant journey. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.